What's up guys, welcome to the new snake room. We got some stuff to do in here to make this room escape proof, so I'm going to walk you guys through this process. So one of the first things you need to check when making a room escape proof for venomous snakes is the door. So now obviously doors are supposed to close. Apparently this one doesn't want to. So we're definitely going to have to do some work to the door. Now also, we're going to have to come up here to the AC vent, and we're going to have to take the AC vent down and completely cover it with screen. Now that's a nice little fun process because it's always hard getting it back up, but the end result is the AC vent is still open and you can still access it if you need to. We also have the attic crawl space right above me here. This one's pretty simple. You just got to put 2 screws through the wood frame here into the door so that it can't get pushed up and open. And what else? Well, the windows, we have to change the locks on the windows to make sure that they're 100% secure. But this room has something that I've never had to deal with before. So above me right here, this is actually the intake for the AC for this entire building. So with that being said, I need to make this accessible and easy to be able to get in there to change the AC filter. So taking that down is going to be fun. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it yet, but that is going to be one of the steps in this process. So now coming back to the door, we need to see why this door isn't closing and also staying open or popping back open. So looking at a couple different things, right off the bat it looks like it's getting stuck on the bottom, so that's going to be this beam here that they actually used to kind of divide the floor a little bit. Now also catching my eye is this. So this is obviously the part that catches the door handle, or this is the door handle that catches the door frame. This piece of metal here, if you look very carefully, it is not flush. It is supposed to be flush within the door, so this isn't sticking out. Now another thing to look at are the hinges. So the hinges here, oh, there's another thing. So these also are supposed to be flush in the door as well. That one's sticking out, that one's sticking out, and the bottom one is a little flush, but could be a little bit better. So these are all things we're gonna need to fix. I'm gonna need to sand the bottom of the door so it doesn't catch this particular part here. And we also need to change the door handle as well, because I need to have a locking key on this door. All right, so we're done. The door closes, it stays closed, it locks, no problem. So that's one thing done. We got a couple more things to go. AC vents are relatively easy because it's usually just 2 screws. But now we got to figure out how we're going to wrap this in wire to be able to put it back up there. Okay, so for this next part, we came outside because I really don't want to be cutting metal inside in there. So when we're cutting the metal to go over the AC vent, you want to cut a little bit bigger with the grinder. This way you can go back and cut it later with the shears if you need to make it smaller. So I'm kind of just doing a quick little eye measurement with it. Don't mind the helicopter. Kind of see where I want it and give myself plenty of extra space to work with. Alright, so that's relatively the size that we want to use. Now we can go back inside, start folding it up and cutting away the excess so we can put it back up in the ceiling. So there you go, there's a nice screen covered AC vent. This way you don't have to worry about snakes getting through it and getting out into the AC vents. Now, once I get it all folded in the back, I do like to cut away the excess here in the corners. This way this will stop you from kind of sticking it back up to the ceiling. It's just less crap to get in your way when putting it back up. But it's still nice and secure. Alright, so now that we got the screws in it, we can go ahead and try and put it back up. Now the fun part is getting it to actually stay up with the screws. There you go, that's putting up the screen. Now, we gotta figure out that one. Coral's up.
Daddy.
Yes, baby. Okay, so Summer forgot to push the button, but I took this off. Again, never had to do one of these before. Definitely need to be able to get a filter in and out of here easily, so we're gonna have to work on this a little bit. So coming on over here, if you look, actually, there's a big gap right here that goes into the attic. Now, I don't need to seal that up for the snake room reasons, but I personally want to seal that up because that's literally just going to be dumping hot air from the attic into this room. So I don't want that. And then we got to figure out pretty much how we're going to cover this with the screen. Alright, to fix this giant gap up there, I'm just going to use some great stuff foam to kind of fill it. We're going to let that dry and we'll come back and try to figure out that. So like I said, I don't want this up here. Could go into the attic and do this, but that's more fun. Alright, so I pretty much did the same thing I did on the vent, but because this is flat, it's a lot easier. Just kind of cut it to fit it and then fold it over the other sides. But unfortunately, I do need to wait now for the Great Stuff foam to finish drying. Once that is dry, then we'll be able to put this back up. Usually when you buy a door sweep, they're usually about 36 inches long. Now, most of your common doors in your house are not going to be 36 inches long, so you do have to cut it. Now, it's very simple, metal and rubber. The rubber sits on the ground, it's got pre-drilled holes through the metal already, so you can attach it to the door. So now coming on over to the door, don't mind the garbage on the floor. Now you can see it is much bigger, so you do need to cut it. So this is actually a good sized door. My last door at the last house, I actually had to cut about 3 inches off of it. So it looks like you might only need to cut the rubber off the side of these. Now, because it's only the rubber, I only really need to use the shears. Don't necessarily need to use the grinder, which is what I normally use. I like to give it a little bit of an angle, so this way it does still cover the entire door frame. Then we can go ahead and put this bad boy on. So the door sweep is on. You can tell it's working because it'll push the dust out of the way. But Now, technically, this room is deemed escape proof. So now it's always good to check your electrical outlets to make sure there's no gaps or holes or anything around there, because I have heard of snakes actually getting in behind it and going into walls. Never really a good thing. But that's relatively it. The only thing I have left to do is put screws through this to secure this down. I'm not going to do that just yet because I have an AC guy coming on Monday to actually go up there and make sure the AC works just perfect. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something new. That's always the goal. Big thank you for watching. And remember, subscribe if you're not already. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Big thank you to everybody that has donated to the GoFundMe so far. The link is still in the description of the videos. If you guys would like to help us build our dream snake building, definitely check it out. Big thank you to my Patreons as well, and I will see you guys in the next video like always. Bye!